Welcome to our YouTube channel on Success and Women. Women helping women.
Come join us.
See you soon. Welcome to this week's episode of Success and Women. I'm Linda.
And I'm Andrea.
And today we're going to be talking about mental and physical health. But before we get started, Andrea's got her tip of the week.
Well, ladies, I know one big problem when we have sweaters, we hang them up, we get those little hanger bumps. Well, and I think I probably have one today. There's
a little one here, Andrea.
I Googled it, and they're saying what you do is you hang your sweaters inside out. And you hang them up, and then when you take them off the hanger, I guess the bump's on the inside.
That's true. Maybe you'll be a little dent.
Yes, so there's a good tip.
So it's worth
one
trying.
that I need also.
Well, and it's interesting. Recently, I had some friends over, and one of my friends, her sister-in-law was getting rid of this really pretty black dress. It's just a basic classic dress. And she said, you might have to wash it because it's got the little hanger pumps on it. And she says, maybe if you launder it, it'll go away. And I thought, that's now a good tip because, I was going to launder it anyway, but just because I've never even met her sister-in-law, not that I think she's not clean. The dress is beautiful.
No.
I haven't tried it on yet.
So when you hang it back up,
but when I hang it back up, I'm going to do it inside out.
Because you know it gets hanger bumps.
Yeah. Well, it has it. That's why I'm saying. It's already got it because her sister-in-law
didn't. Nothing more annoying than go to put a sweater on, you got these two little bumps.
But this is on a dress even.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's...
So this is a good fix, ladies.
Yeah. Well, we hope it works. We're going to both try that one.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Anyway, today, and because we talk about this a lot and it's out there a lot, is people's mental and physical health. We're not always at our peak. And a lot of times you're going to hear people talk about, oh, well, it's just because you're getting old. And I am so tired of hearing it's all about the aging thing because I've met a lot of people older than I am. And they're in better shape than I am.
We have a lot of those women that are in our Florida community.
Absolutely. That's true. That's a really good point. But part of the reason for their health and mental well-being is because they're doing something in retirement that they're really enjoying, which is getting a change of scenery, but they're very active. As a community as well as physically. Some of them are, going out walking with their friends, going to the pool every day, golfing. Yeah.
And we have our parties and they're up there dancing and
that's true. Dancing is great.
They show up and they show up beautifully. Yeah. Makeup, beautiful clothes, jewelry.
Even that's good for your mental health.
Absolutely.
Because somebody recently told me they had somewhere they had to go and they had to dress up. But it made them feel so good because they haven't done that for a long time.
Right.
And it raises your spirits when you've got an opportunity to get dressed up when you don't normally do it anymore.
Well, it was like during COVID, people were basically living in their pajamas. And at first it was a fun and a novelty and the whole bit. But, you get lazy. You get lazy. And after 3 to 6 months, it doesn't feel so good. You're waking up every day and same old, and nothing to look forward to. And it started to wear on a lot of people's mental status. And even now, people still are struggling to get over that mental depression that a lot of us went into.
I think that's why it's so out there when you look at the media now. But people are more comfortable to talk about it. But the fact is, there's a lot of people still suffering. You're right.
Yeah.
In suffering, what's happening, and I talk about this with a lot of my friends, is the fact that we're not always getting proper sleep. If we don't get proper sleep, it wears on our mental and our physical self. Definitely. So you're not motivated to go to the gym or go out for a walk or do stuff because you're not sleeping. You're so tired. You have no energy.
Right.
What can you do about it? What can be that turnaround? Well, I was telling you, Andrea, recently, I had 2 nights where I slept 8 hours fully right through the night.
Wow.
And then I look back on it because the next night, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is the normal time for me to wake up. And then
Right.
I sleep with my iPad close by, and I'm, Googling and watching YouTube videos and stuff, trying to get myself tired to fall back asleep, which I normally do just before the clock goes off in the morning.
And which they say you shouldn't do.
Yes.
To try and fall back to sleep. They say the light from the iPad is stimulating, so you shouldn't be doing it. But what else do you do at 3 a.m?
Right. And for me, actually, I usually fall asleep in the middle of playing a card game or watching a YouTube video anyway, so it hasn't prevented me from sleeping.
Good.
And that didn't change. But I looked back and I said, holy, why did I have such a great sleep? It's been a long time since I slept 2 nights in a row, 8 hours straight.
So that's what you have to do.
So I did kind of, look back. Now, I used to always have, I'll say, my dinner a little bit on the later side, which those particular nights I didn't. Also, I always had a glass of wine with dinner, and those 2 nights I didn't. But on the 3rd night, I didn't do any of those things either. And I didn't sleep through the night, but I'm thinking I had 2 really good nights of sleep, that the 3rd night, I don't think I was really, really tired enough when I went to bed because I fell asleep, and it would be like taking a long nap, but then I was well rested, and I really, if it wasn't so in the middle of the night, could have been active to go to work, could have, you know what I mean? Which I don't normally want to get up and go to work that early, or get to the gym, which wouldn't be open yet. But the fact is, I wondered and sometimes it might be something that's happening in the body. I'm not sure, but I started now, I do a lot of things differently now. I'm drinking lemon water in the morning. Sometimes I will have a cup of chamomile tea at night. That's helping me to sort of wind down my day.
Yeah.
And you were saying that sometimes when you go to sleep, it's the same thing for you. You're not sleeping through the night, but
no, I really and I think as you age, it is a common thread that I hear from a lot of my friends that we don't get that solid sleep, and a lot to do with the bladder. Let's face it, ladies. You have to get up. But a lot of women can just crawl back into bed and fall asleep. And then I find that that's very difficult for me to do. So I was trying to figure out how to get a better sleep, because even though it is a disrupted sleep, when I do wake up at 5:30 or 6, I feel okay. I get up, I make my coffee, I check my email, stuff like that. But then I find at 9 o'clock, I'm dragging myself, and I can't have that. I don't want that. So what I did for myself, because I've done all the other, figured out when I ate coffee, because I am a real heavy duty coffee drinker, and not the decaffeinated kind.
Yeah. And in moderation, it's really good for you, actually. There's so many health benefits.
There is. I was just reading that this morning, the health benefits.
Lots.
But so what I did was, of course, everyone knows I love Melaleuca and their products. So I went into their site to see what they had, and they had a sleep aid that was all natural. And I thought, what the heck, let's give it a shot. So anyways, I got it and I took one, and wow. I did get up to go to the washroom, but I was able to get back into bed and fall asleep again.
Wow.
I had a great night's sleep. So you have to, if you want to change, if you want to be more successful, then you need to figure out what's holding you back in be it mental or physical. If you need to see a doctor, if you need to exercise more, like when I came back from Florida this year, I was upset because I had gained so much weight, and at first I was like, man, what the heck, and just went on my merry way. But it was bringing me down, and I was getting frustrated because I go to put on some clothes and they don't fit, and you're one pant here, one pant there, until you can find an elastic there. So you know what, I finally got so fed up that I rejoined with Weight Watchers. And now it's been about, 4 weeks and I'm down about 5 pounds, but I feel better because I'm eating better, and I love their program. And I'm going to their meetings this time. When I joined the first time through COVID, there were no in-house meetings. Yes. It was all virtual. And but this now I'm going with my girlfriend to the meetings, and they have it's so fun to be. You're in a community with other women, and you get ideas from each other. And wow, how it's changed my mental health. Yeah. Just thinking that I'm doing something, and it's not that I've lost my goal to my goal weight, but I know I'm getting there.
Well, and that's what mentally it's making you feel better, but physically you are getting healthier as well.
Yes.
But last year I went through a lot of health issues. Don't know what happened, but I could barely walk. So I was seeing a physiotherapist twice a week. I was going to the gym, going to see a personal trainer. And thankfully, the personal trainer I had was also really good with, I'll say, physical therapy. Oh. So even though I was seeing a physical therapist, I would do the odd days so that I was getting basically 4 days a week with something that the trainer and the physical therapist were doing to try, because I couldn't walk. I literally thought, first of all, I could hardly remember what it was like to feel normal without all this pain. But I thought, what's it even like to walk anymore? I couldn't. I was walking, and even one of my friends said, "Oh my God, when I saw you, it's like you were over 100 because I was hunched over."
Yeah.
Every step was so painful, and I kept doing that. And it's hard to get motivated to work out when you're in so much pain.
Even just to do anything when you're in pain.
Absolutely.
It kind of consumes you.
Well, and getting in and out of the car just to go to the physical therapist. And fortunately, the gym is very close to where I live, but I had to walk there, even though it's normally not more than about a 10-minute walk. It was taking me over 20 minutes because every step was painful. Wow. But it would be more of a hassle for me to try to drive in a very congested area to park.
You're right.
And I'd still, have to do some walking. Anyway, but I did it right up until I went to Florida at the end of December. And then when I was in Florida, I was kind of forced to be doing more walking. I didn't go to the physical therapist there. I was going to, and just because I was, traveling and doing a lot of stuff there, I never got a chance to. But then I started going into the pool, and that started making a difference on loosening things up.
Great.
And the more that I felt better, the more I could walk.
Right.
And now I'm back from Florida, and it's like, holy moly, I'm literally walking. I have very little pain left. I still have some.
Good.
My body is a bit weak in the lower end, like the lower half, because I'm very strong on the upper body, but I'm not in the pain. I can walk around the block, and I can do a lot more. And I'm, going to be traveling this summer, and I was worried because I was going to have to do a lot of walking, and I really could barely walk.
When you're the pool?
Well, the pool, and I think all the stuff I did with my physiotherapist and my trainer.
Right.
And I'm going to give a shout out to Omed because he's not training anymore, unfortunately, at LA Fitness. But he was so good between him and my physical therapist, Jamie, that they got me started.
Good.
Then when I went to Florida, it was easier to do a little bit more walking because I was in not as much pain as when I originally started with them.
Right.
The pool made a difference. Then the better you feel mentally, it was helping me think that, okay, maybe this isn't going to be for life. Maybe there are things that I can do.
You have to be proactive. You have to, say, okay, I'm not going to just
let this beat me
and let this beat me. I must do something to help myself. And then, research your symptoms and see.
And I was doing a lot of that.
Be. Yeah. And if you can't figure it out on your own, then it's time to find, professional help. But don't just sit back and complain and cry and oh, poor me, because if you want to get things done in life or move ahead,
take responsibility.
You take responsibility for your mental and your physical health. And there's so much help out there.
There is, but you know, in all of that, Andrea, because I was going through, and again, I really didn't know why it was happening to me. I mean, I had my own suspicions, you know, like could have been the vaccines and the booster. I don't know, but maybe something impacted my body, because my body changed after that. It changed. And so I was going for blood work. I was going for x-rays. I got an orthopedic surgeon. They were giving me all these other tests, and including a bone scan. They did all kinds of stuff, but nothing was conclusive other than aging, osteoarthritis, which at, you know, my age, they say a lot of people have it.
Right.
When I showed the x-rays to my physical therapist, he goes, Linda, you know, I've seen a lot worse than this.
Wow.
So I never felt like that was it.
And sometimes you have that inner feeling.
Absolutely.
And you're usually right, because your brain is trying to tell you something.
So even though I was proactive, going to my family doctor, going to the orthopedic surgeon, it wasn't enough, because they were not giving me, I'll say, the right diagnosis with the right prescription, in the sense of what I could do.
What to do.
So they did say, because I had seen them both before I went to Florida over the winter, and they said, well, the heat should help. Well, the heat really didn't, because you were there, you saw I could barely walk a lot of times. It was so painful, and and it was a beautiful winter.
Beautiful.
It wasn't really making a difference, but I didn't give up, and I was online a lot, looking to see what kind of exercises.
What can I do now? What's my next
trying
move?
Different stuff.
Yes.
And I think the basis of what I had been doing for months with the physiotherapist and the trainer, and then continuing when I was in Florida to find other things and certain exercises, and again mentally saying, you know, like I would pray every night to God and thank him every morning for restoring health back into my body, like constantly thanking him for restoring health back into my body. And slowly and slowly and slowly, was getting better and better. And I don't give up, because I'm not 100% yet, but I am so much further than last year.
I'm so happy to hear that, because when I left Florida, you were walking really,
I know,
very painfully.
Everything was an effort.
Right.
Getting up, walking, you know, just a little bit. And I would walk to your place. And even though it's not that far, it took way longer, because I had to walk so slow. And that wasn't me. That's not who I'm normally. And I know one of my friends, she's short, and she's got very short legs. And she always felt like she had to run to keep up with me, because I couldn't walk slow. And now I was forced to walk really slow. And, but mentally, it was wearing me down.
Oh, absolutely.
And at night, that's part of what was happening initially, because I'd be in so much pain just to turn over every time. And sometimes I have to hold my leg and drag it over, kind of thing, to try to find a comfortable position. When you start seeing that something's changing, you start feeling more positive. And I want to research even more. And again, I'm still going to thank God every day, because my body is responding to the fact that I keep saying, you've restored health into me. The positive health, you know, and restoring my health to what it was, because I was always very healthy and
not giving up.
Yeah. And it's funny how mentally the things that you feed in your body will change things.
Right.
So what are you feeding yourself?
What are you feeding yourself? What are you telling yourself every morning when you get up? Oh, I'm so tired. Oh, I don't want to face the day. And then you are. Exactly.
I always say, you know, it really is a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's even like, you know, a lot of other things. Well, I'll never get the promotion. Well, of course not. You already planted that seed. Why would you?
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, why don't you say, like, I have this position, I'm good in this position, everybody's loving me in this position.
Oh, it was so funny, because when you say that, because I started watching this movie yesterday, and it starts off, this young girl, she walks into a store, and she's saying, I'm the person for this job, because I can do this and I can do it. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, she's going for a job to be like some kind of CEO. Anyways, so it flashes quickly to she's gotten the job, and she's stacking cans in a grocery store. But she goes home and she has a list on her mirror, and it says getting the job, and then the next was being promoted to this. And every time she did, she ticked it off. And sure enough, by the end of the movie, she was running the whole place. And but it was her. She never let anything get her down. She talked herself up every day. And
even
the
for a
people
job
around
like
her,
that.
yeah, just to stock shelves. She was giving them the whole thing package, and they're kind of looking at her, thinking, what is she applying for?
Yeah.
I thought it was some big position, but it just showed that she had a plan, and she wasn't letting anything stop her.
Yes, she was keeping positive vibes, everything else.
She was one of the most positive. Even though it was a movie, it was still, you can be like that. You can actually go into a job interview feeling like, I am the person for this job.
Well, you know what's interesting when you say that, because did you ever watch Reba?
Yes.
Okay, so Barbara Jean is the other woman on Reba. But she never let anything get her down. She was always optimistic about everything, including she, for the longest time in the episodes, was trying to convince Reba that was her best friend, right?
Yes.
That they were best friends.
Yeah.
And even though she's the other woman kind of thing, and it took a long time, but Reba finally saw what Barbara Jean had in her, and that was that spirit that she is a good person overall. Do you know what I mean? But it was just funny. She never let all the insults bother her.
No.
Nothing else. She'd go in there with a big smile on her face. And
that's right.
It's
because she was confident in herself and what she brought to the table.
Yep. And, you know, I was telling you recently, I was listening to Joel Osteen. And again, this is just part of mental health. But how sometimes people live in the past. And he was saying when he was a young boy that his father one time got a little peeved with his mom. And so he was giving her the cold shoulder treatment. And all afternoon, he was just, if she tried to say something to her husband, he'd just say, be very curtly, no, whatever. But he literally was ignoring her the whole afternoon. Well, at one point during the day, he stepped out, maybe he went in the backyard, I don't know, but he came into the house and he was looking for his wife because he wanted to find her so he could ignore her. And you can't do that if she's not there. And he's looking all over the house. He's looking in the other rooms. He's looking, knocking on the bathroom door. He's going to the utility room, looking in the basement. Can't find his wife. But meantime, when he had gone out, she decided she was going to hide behind a door. And she would come out at the right time. Well, lo and behold, he gave her that opportunity. She got out from behind the door, jumped on his back, put her legs around him, and she goes, I'm not getting off until you start talking to me. Well, he wanted to be mad at her. He was living in the past being mad. He wanted to be mad, but he broke down laughing to the point where they both collapsed to the floor.
Aww.
And he wasn't mad at her anymore that afternoon. Might have had another time and she'd pull some other prank. But the fact is, even Joel said, you have to bring the joy back because you don't want to live in the past, but you also need that positive mental attitude in order to move forward. Right. And how can you be successful if you keep holding yourself back because you want to stay angry about something? For what? It's easy to do. We've all been there. But if you really thought about it, and maybe there's a way you can kind of break that habit, come to some better understanding with your partner or some colleague at work or whatever, to move forward. Because it really will help you to become more successful. You have to find the joy. And when you find the joy, it's hard to be, I'll say, depressed. And nowadays, we see a lot of people that are depressed because of things in their surroundings, but they're not taking themselves out and finding the joy, or even going back physically to a gym. If you haven't been for a while, it makes you feel mentally better when you're doing something physical.
For yourself.
I actually always feel good when I always feel good once I've come out of the gym.
I know.
Because once I've gone there, it was hard to get there, to be motivated. But like Dr. Laura always said, I like the outcome.
Right.
And that's the whole thing. If you never change your body physically, because sometimes your shape is going to be predetermined, but you're healthier, but you're mentally healthier, isn't it worth it?
It is.
It's all about the outcome.
Exactly.
And that's what Dr. Laura says. It's not like I feel motivated every day, but you do what you have to do.
Yeah. And if you want to achieve something like better mental health or better physical health, then you have to do something about it.
Yeah. And whatever that is.
And whatever it is.
Yeah. So that was our episode for this week. We hope that you enjoyed it, but we'd like you to share it.
And subscribe.
And do like it. We need the thumbs up once in a while.
We hope you like it.
Yeah. Anyway, until next week, ladies, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.